Indiana. Governor Mitch Daniels turned a huge deficit into a large surplus. He decertified the state employee union. He has fought with both Democrats and party leaders from his own Republican Party. He's had more wins than losses. And when so many states are looking for federal bailouts, how has Indiana been so successful? Joining us now, Governor Mitch Daniels. So, Governor, you have a reputation of being you've been called a name like a skinflint, which normally may be an insult, but it seems like right now a lot of people would like some skinflints in office. So, are you a tightwad? Are you a skinflint? Are you? I mean, you've turned the state around from a minus to a positive.
Oh, I guess I was raised to be my father's son, pretty thrifty, but it's even, I guess, more important when it's other people's money you're dealing with. We try never to forget that, and we've tried to be as careful as we can, never to take a dollar from a free citizen without a really good reason, and then to, if we have that reason, to spend the money as carefully and effectively as we possibly can.
Well, you've been successful, but you haven't necessarily won all the fights, and some of the people that you are fighting are some of the people in your own party in the state of Indiana. So is it really a party issue, or are you kind of a Tea Partier before the term even came along?
Oh, I think we've had reasonable unity in our Republican Party in Indiana. You're right, not always. And on those occasions when they were free to do so, we've had some support from our Democratic friends. But really, at this point in our nation's history, frugality and fiscal prudence is everybody's issue. If there was ever a time when we were all in it together, it is right now. And if we don't get this right, if the nation goes over financial Niagara, all our other disagreements on other questions will seem pretty trivial.
One of the things that you did on your first day in office, which I'd like to know if it's unique in Indiana or not, is that you decertified the state employees union right off the bat. Why did you do it, and is that something that other governors could be doing, and should they?
Others can, and a couple have. I would leave it to their judgment, but I would just say from our end, and I admit that I thought long and hard before doing this, but in retrospect, it was a very important step. All the reforms, all the transformations, changes we have made in agency after agency after agency, which have translated into lower spending but also better service. We could just never have done it before under an arrangement in which you couldn't move a copying machine from one room to another without a 30-day consultation with the union. I should also tell you that for me it was a matter of it was also a freedom issue. I didn't think it was right that our employees, unless they wanted to, should have 2% of their pay taken in union dues. So all we really did is made that voluntary, and over 90% of the workers, once it was their decision, decided to keep the money.
Well, you went through your first term. You got into some of the tussles with some of the people in government there that you have to work with, but you wound up getting reelected with an 18-point margin. The people of Indiana, in a Rasmussen poll that I saw, 54% of the people of your state said they would support you for president. Where are you on that thought, and have you considered it seriously?
I really don't. I'm not thinking about it at all. Right in front of us right now are 4 exciting months in which we hope, number one, to keep Indiana, one of the few states in the black that has never raised taxes, in fact cut them, that has a AAA credit rating. That's a job we've got to continue. We have huge opportunities to reform education and local government, and I'm duty-bound and frankly passionate about getting those things done. When that's all over with, if this question's still of interest to you, Tom, ask me then.
All right, I'll call you back after you get those things done. One of the other things is about the size of government. So many people talk about they want government to shrink, they want less government. John Boehner has said that he wants to go back to 2008. You were the old Office of Management and Budget guy. You know these numbers. Is there some year that we can go back to and say that's what government used to do? It was less than it is today. That would suit some number that would fit with your idea of how to balance things on a federal basis.
Well, I don't know if you want to pick a number or a year. I mean, I think we really need a house cleaning, decide what does government really, the federal government, really have to do. That would produce, of course, a much lower spending amount than we have today. But John's point is not a bad one to start from. You know, nobody thought that I know thought the federal government was too small just a couple, 3 years ago. It was doing a lot and spending more money than ever. So just getting back there would be a good start. You know, Tom, I sometimes say to people, you'd be amazed how much government you'd never miss. And we have the fewest state employees out here in Indiana now since 1978. And yet I can show you that all the vital services are being delivered more quickly, more accurately, and more effectively than before. So for us, it starts with what's government really there to do, and then being absolutely determined to do that well.
It's a compliment to you, but it's also sad that you, maybe Governor Christie from New Jersey, you have been successful in cutting government and going in and trimming some of the expenses, a lot of the expenses out, as if that's something unusual. And you guys do stand out in that regard. But on the same token, I hear all the time about people saying, I want smaller government, I want less spending, but don't you dare cut that check that has my name on it. So how do you achieve shrinking government in your state without getting people with that kind of reaction?
I can tell you that in our 2% of America, Tom, I think we've demonstrated now for 6 years, you can talk to people as grown-ups. You can say we can't do everything all at once. You can say that trade-offs have to be made. We have to do those things that are really important. In our case, that's public safety and public education at the top of the list. It doesn't mean other things won't get done to some extent, but they may have to take second place. And yes, people holler, but the majority of people, I think, have supported policies of prudence, and why not? This is what they do in their own homes. And you know, if people didn't remember how dangerous debt is, didn't remember how risky it is to spend beyond your means, many, by the millions, they've learned it again in their own lives recently. And I think that means that they'll understand even more when government does the right thing and matches spending to the available income.
All right, you're a focused guy, and one of the things that you said about focusing, I'm not sure who you were addressing, if it was the Republican Party or Congress or the people of this country, but a few months back you were talking about the fact that we need to focus on fiscal matters and not worry, and I believe you were talking about Republicans, not worry so much about the social issues. And Governor Mike Huckabee responded by saying, wait a minute, that's wrong. You have to focus on that as well. Have you and Governor Huckabee been able to have a discussion about that to figure out your differences?
Oh, I think the world of Mike Huckabee. I don't think we really have very many differences. You know, I wasn't talking to him or just people on one side. As you might know, he and I agree on most of these so-called social issues. I was simply making the point that we have a national emergency here. It is a survival-level question for the country. And, you know, I just believe it's the duty of everybody with public responsibility to act on it and act quickly. Because these other disagreements are differences of opinion. I don't suggest anybody change their mind about a thing. I don't intend to. I just believe that while we address the wolf that is at the door, we might just agree to a little temporary cessation. That's all. But look, I don't argue with anybody about this, and I understand the sincere passion of people for whom these other questions are paramount.
All right. Governor Mitch Daniels from Indiana. We'll call you back in 4 months, and thanks so much. Nice to talk to you.